Hello, and thanks for watching. I'm doing another reading from my house, but today I'm going to be reading from my book, Gently in Manner, Strongly Indeed, Poems on Eisenhower, because today is the anniversary of Eisenhower's death, so I thought, it'd be a good way to honor his memory. The first poem I'm going to read is called Inauguration 1953. It's arguably my favorite poem in the collection. Palm down, the Bible open to Psalm 33. Blessed is that nation whose God is the Lord. He lives in the Psalms because they are digestible, because even the kings could sing when they walked, when they fell. Even the kings of Israel could render their prayers futile, drowning in the Jordan, drowning in their mistakes laid deeper than the body they flow into. Even the kings knew hope as a spiked head they left in Africa, but lift its visage as a joyful noise, fielding armies with tambourines instead of garons, and a slogan for the future. He'd held that prayer in Europe, voice trembling over dirty, broken men, standing to be thanked, dusted, to be sent again to the craters, the ballistic remains of Bastogne. But if fear is a blessed thing, then to walk in its shadow is to be blessed. Then to walk past hope is a chance to scrape pine shrapnel of its sap, to make it something they can roll between their fingers, something they can taste, fuel for the long walk home. He holds that prayer in Washington, hands extended, and dedicates his calendar to hope, to that sorry, sorry sight. There's a series of poems in here called the Ivan poems, and this character Ivan appears, but he represents the red threat. And so in like the trial of the Rosenbergs, I have him as Ethel Rosenberg, or in this poem, Sputnik, Ivan is Sputnik. So, Sputnik. Ivan's wearing silver, floating above the world, reflecting a teasing ray, the steady blink of victory. Yet another shofar, calling us to rise and eagerly face our destiny, this time in the sky. Douglas Edwards greets the nation, meets them in their living rooms, glowing from the TV, glowing like their worst nightmares. Eyes up to catch the glimpse that lit this fire, lit the offices of serious men and their secretaries, staying late to take dictation and with nervous fingers command the eyes of statesmen. Eyes away from the silver streak, eyes down to catch the fight. Ink ribbons taking punches like pros, a bantamweight dance across Ike's desk, taunting, eyes only. Singing between punches, eyes only. The lonely serenade of security. Fun fact, The Lonely Serenade of Security was the original title for this collection, but people told me it wasn't very good, so I changed it. This next poem is called Kay Summersby, and it's about Kay Summersby, who was Eisenhower's aide during the war, and they also had an affair. Before I read the poem, I want to read what Eisenhower wrote about her in his diary. He said, "I heard today through a mutual friend that my wartime secretary is in dire straits. A clear case of a fine person going to pieces over the death of a loved one. In this instance, the man she was all set to marry. I'll do what I can to help. Makes one wonder whether any human ever dares become so wrapped up in another that all happiness and desire to live is determined by the actions, desires, or life of the second. I trust she pulls herself together, but she is Irish and tragic." Kay Summersby. Because a general is a general, a power ill-contained by a mere man, even one so Wheatfield, so Bible Church, so wholesome. Where desire meets fatigue, even under silver bars, even under military codes of justice, under honor, no two people, sitting under an English evening sky, have ever talked of war, of home, of the great gulf fixed between their farthest, warmest joys, and not wanted to kiss the person next to them. This next poem is about the USS Nautilus. And before I read it, I want to read you the letter that the commander of the Nautilus sent to Eisenhower. He said, "Dear Mr. President, it is an honor and a privilege to report to you that the USS Nautilus will in a few minutes reach the North Pole while making the world's first transpolar voyage. We submerged under the Arctic ice pack off Point Barrow, Alaska on August 1st and expect to emerge in the Greenland Sea on August 5th. I hope, sir, that you will accept this letter as a memento of a voyage of importance to the United States. It would not have been possible had it not been for your personal interest, approval, and support. All of the men of the Nautilus join me in wishing you Godspeed in your continuing fight for world peace. Very respectfully, W.R. Anderson, Commander, U.S. Navy." To the men of the USS Nautilus. A lonely trip north, with no sky, no stars to guide you. Just currents and the welting sting of sonar. Claim the shelf, the deadly ocean floor as you drag your steel calyx through Charon's own water and touch the nose of Siberia. Your children will doubtless sleep heedless of their righteous fathers, who sail dark under ice and with docile lungs emerge from their own coffin, prayers and coffee on their breath, and their minds already sailing toward respite. Years will burn before magnetic drums can punch a value we understand. But the barnacles on her sail can be counted, and that, my friends, is enough. I believe that next week marks the anniversary of the creation of NASA. So in honor of that, here is The Problems with Congress in Formulating Outer Space Legislation by Eileen Galloway, as ordered by Senator Lyndon Johnson. What now, Ike? Have him go up and pick a sixth star? Won't fit on your shoulder boards, but we'll hang it from your neck. Paint it across your office door. Maybe just pick Polaris. That way we can all point. There he is. The way home. The man with the smile and backyard apron keeping a steady eye on all of us. You flattened the earth, and now you're taken to the dead, cold, dripping hell of space. The heavens, they call them, but I've never known a paradise I couldn't lay down in. Couldn't look to my wife in, order a drink, and just be in. We want for things, sure, and it's getting darker outside, but I'm not ready for all that back-turning. That we gotta spread out or we forget how to use our arms. We gotta puke our guts or we're not trying bullshit. I mean, if we're racing just to run, we're losing. Eisenhower's first Secretary of Labor was the head of the Pipefitters Union, which I think is a really bold and good choice for a Secretary of Labor. But he didn't really fit in, and his tenure was very short. So this poem is called Secretary Durkin, January 21st, 1953 to September 10th, 1953. Tried throwing the workers a bone, putting a favored pipe fitter in the cabinet to share among the suits of civic-minded men. Heroes of Rotary meetings, front page power with reputations, noble patents nobly holding names that feel like constellations. Those who stake their fortunes on us, our propensity to produce, had no place for one of us, has no place for one of you. All right, this is the last one I'm going to read. While I was working on this, a friend of mine sent me some link to some tweet that it was like random facts, like this day in history kind of stuff, and that's where I got the idea for this. So thank you, John Luke. July 12th, 1957, first presidential helicopter ride. It was Mamie who said flying's a no-go, her father holding his blessing in exchange for a promise. No, you won't become one of those raging, borderless, lunatic, goggle-eyed flyboys, you understand? You'll come home in one piece. Dwight will be respectable. A uniform, a pressed suit, and President of these United States. Of course, we make dragonflies in factories now. Machines St. George would have sharpened his lance for. Beasts that hold fuel and fire. Heads of state twitching in its gut, pretending they're not nervous. The dragonfly floats, whirling its two bladed wings. Ike defies physics. Thank you for watching. I will post a link to buy the book, Gently in Manner, Strongly Indeed, Poems on Eisenhower by Timothy Tarkelly, published by Spartan Press, who is also publishing my next book, which comes out on April 10th, and you can pre-order that as well. Spartan Press is great as long as they keep publishing my stuff. I don't plan on ever publishing with anyone else. So please look into it. I hope you enjoyed this, and go learn something about Eisenhower. Thanks for watching.